you just abandon any precaution. You know, folks, something could happen here, and if it does, so what?
Hey friends, welcome to Nathan for Us, a Nathan Fielder fan podcast. My name is Kelly.
And hi, I'm Megan.
And we are back to talk about another Nathan Fielder show that we have yet to cover. We are here to talk about episode 1 of The Curse. And this episode is titled Land of Enchantment. Meg, how did you feel after watching this? What were your first kind of off the cuff impressions?
Okay, so I want to first tell you what I thought the show was about because I was really wrong. So leading up to this, I didn't look anything up. I wanted to go in pretty cold. And I thought I knew what the show was about. I thought that it was very much a spinoff of The Ghost Realtor. So I thought that we were dealing with real estate agents for haunted houses. So that's what I thought it was going to be. And it was not. It was super quirky, super weird. I really loved it. It felt very Nathan Fielder still. Like, this could have very much been an episode of Nathan for You or The Rehearsal, where it's like, hey, we're going to be house flippers and see how people react when we pitch them quirky projects or we surprise them during the big reveal. So it was very interesting to see how similar it was, even though this is a scripted show. Many of the characters who popped up, or I guess actors, could have been pulled from Craigslist, you know? Like, it did feel very Nathan Fielder, which was funny because I was expecting it to be very different.
Yeah, we can get into it when we get to the actual curse of it all. But that part I know for sure was inspired by something that actually happened to Nathan. So I feel like maybe when writing the show, he was maybe pulling a little bit from his life. I want to think maybe pulling a little bit from his work making Nathan for You. But for anyone who doesn't know what the curse is about and somehow made their way to this episode of our podcast, this is a show that came out a couple years ago. It was written by Nathan Fielder and Benny Safdie, and it essentially follows this couple played by Nathan Fielder and Emma Stone, who start this TV show on HGTV. HGTV even named, which I was honestly shocked by. But they are running this show called Flipanthropy, and kind of this is the episode where we learn a little bit more about them, why they claim to be doing this, and some of their backstory. We haven't gotten too much about the actual curse yet, but I think we got some little sprinkles of dread, I would say.
Mm-hmm. If a small child or an individual walked up to you and said, like, I curse you, would you try to rectify the situation or would you not be concerned?
I think, like, the thing with the little girl to me is like she didn't come off really creepy. You know what I mean? Like, when you see some of these horror movies, you see a little kid and you're like, oh, like that is a scary little kid. In this case, she kind of just said, like, I curse you. And like it clearly sounded like she was just kind of making something up. So I don't know if I would be scared by this particular little girl, but the situation itself and being told that you've been cursed, like, I would be concerned, certainly. But how about you?
I think she was trying to play it as scary. I think she was just like adorable, so it didn't come off very creepy, but she paused and like looked at him, and I think she tried to deliver the line in an intense way. But I think she was just a cute kid, so it came off as lighthearted. I think I would try to maybe do something about it if they seemed serious, although I don't believe that the child is like a witch or like could actually curse me. But I also wouldn't offer a kid $100 on camera and then go to take it back.
Oh my gosh.
Like, there are
Okay.
repercussions for this.
Okay, so maybe we can get into this now, but I watched a little interview clip with Nathan Fielder talking about what inspired this. Did you see this clip as well?
No.
Okay, so he was at a panel where he was being interviewed by Chris Nolan, and Benny Safdie was also there. And essentially, he explained that he had this essentially happen to him when he first moved to LA. He was like walking down the street and he was going to go take out some cash or something at an ATM, and a woman asked him for some money. And he said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I don't have any money." And she said, "I curse you." And then he like went to the ATM and he couldn't get this kind of out of his head. He was like, that was so weird. And he explains that he doesn't believe in curses or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But for whatever reason, he felt compelled to take out an extra $20 and go give it to her. And then was like, okay, so is the curse gone? And she was like, yeah, like the curse is gone.
Good.
So
Nice.
that's how this like came about. And then Benny built on it when Nathan told him the story and was like, oh, what if you couldn't find her and then you would always be thinking about the curse?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have you, as like a child, ever tried to curse someone else?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. I was
100.
like,
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it today. I was like, I know specifically what I said about people.
Yeah, for sure. I was definitely making like, okay, so growing up, I was like very into horror movies, like at a very young age, like way too young, watching like Blair Witch and all these things. So I feel like I would make like little creepy talismans like in my
no.
backyard with like sticks and stuff and try and like
I
curse
wasn't
people.
I wasn't like that. I wasn't an actual psycho. What do you mean? Okay. Let me be more open to your talismans and curses. So you would build sticks, like stick figures of people, and then
Yeah.
curse them?
You know, like
Can
the Blair
you-
Witch Project, right? With like all the little stick things hanging everywhere.
I didn't watch it, but like I've heard of it and kind of know a bit about it. So you were inspired. Who was the brunt of your curse?
I honestly don't even remember. Probably
Everyone.
Yeah, like probably just whoever didn't want to give me $100.
Classic. Do you think it helps? Should we be doing that today when people don't give us $100?
Yeah, you can like go on Fiverr right now and like pay a TikTok, or like go on TikTok right now and pay someone to curse someone for you. That's like a huge thing. Huge business opportunity.
Okay, Kelly and White accepting curses, payment for curses. We'll create small wooden figure out of sticks. And what would you do? Burn them, bury them, kick them up a little?
Yeah, I'd probably like drown them in my pool.
Oh my
I would
God.
bet. Feel like I like would throw them against like the fence in my backyard. I remember like I used to really enjoy, you know, the compressor where your AC unit is. You know, it was the 90s. Everyone had one of these. I would like drop the little sticks in there so they would get all chopped up by the fan.
Oh my
Just normal
God.
stuff.
Mine
Just
seems...
girlhood.
We've never discussed this before, but I will try really hard not to wrong you. Mine feels very mild in comparison now, all of a sudden. And I thought it was really weird earlier today. In some book, there was like this phrase where it was like, I ill wish you. Like that's what you would say to a person. And I don't even remember the book. It was like some like creature would like ill wish people. And so in volleyball specifically, when the other team was serving, I'd think in my head, I'd be like, I ill wish you. Like, I ill wish you to miss. And I would try to like will them to miss the serve. I would think it over and over and over again. Anytime whoever was serving was like in my bad books, like I just was trying to force them to miss the serve. So I remember saying that in my head all the time.
I'm obsessed with that. You were trying to manifest poor playing of volleyball from someone. That's incredible. Did it ever work?
Like anytime they missed, I thought, oh, nice. Great manifesting. It's like even when I'm serving, like I'd have to bounce it a certain number of times, spin it in my hand, you know. There's a whole method to volleyballing. So everything had to be the same. And I was ill-wishing people like left and right. So I didn't hate like a specific person. It was just like anyone who happened to be in that role. I wasn't like cursing sticks and chopping them up.
Listen, it was different times. Like, we didn't have the internet. How else was I going to curse people? I couldn't go on TikTok and pay someone $5 to do it for me. I had to get down to business. I had to get, my hands dirty and
Hands in the
figure out my own
mud.
way.
So if like TikTok witches were a thing and you had been given $100, do you think that's the route you would go, or you genuinely enjoyed the making of the stick figures, the destroying of the stick figures? Like, was it your passion or was it results oriented?
I think it was mainly results oriented. I think I probably would have just paid a TikTok witch to do it for me if I could have.
Mm.
I think I would have also been more willing to believe that it worked because I'd be like, well, this is a professional,
Yeah. How
They're
do
on
you become a
TikTok.
professional TikTok witch?
I think you just have to have a dream and a ring light and a front-facing camera, and you could do it too.
I think if I was a witch, like, I would try to have a shtick. Like, isn't there a thing where you can write, I guess it's you send people potatoes, but I think you can, like, write people's names on things and mail it. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
I would try to pick, like, rocks or something and put people's names on it, and then they could see me throwing it into a lake. Could be like the bog witch or something. Like, get some branding. Just, like, sit by the lake chucking rocks in it. And that's also just a nice way to spend an afternoon, quite frankly. So
Just
it's
like
like
your
win-win-win.
just
You
your
win,
pile
you
of
get
name
your
rocks.
curse. I get to look for rocks and write weird names on them. Then I get to chuck them in a lake. Maybe you slide me a 5, a little tipperoo. We ill wish some of your foes.
Yeah, so we are accepting, if anyone wants to slide us a couple dollars, like we will happily. The method of your choosing, rocks, ill
Yeah,
wishing, stick figurines, like
sticks.
we're open.
But you know who to go to for each. If it's chucking rocks with names on them, ill wishes, I got you. Not that I've done that, but maybe I will for fun. Just without the names until, I get payment. And you can make your weird stick things and chop them up. Chuck them in a puddle, step on them, really rough them up a bunch. How would you get them to stick together? Like glue, string?
I feel like I would just like tie them together with string.
Mm.
I
Mhm.
really like I don't know if I had a specific method. Like I think it was more freeform artistry on my part.
Mhm.
Um but yeah, so I think at the end of the day, like we wouldn't feel great being cursed, I assume.
Yeah, that's correct. I would prefer, just moving back a scooch, I would prefer to not be cursed. But I would prefer to not, hurt anyone's feelings in any capacity if possible to avoid. So I think whether a creepy child yells a curse at me or not, if I'm like really upsetting a random child, there's probably a situation I need to resolve anyway, because who are you and why am I near you?
And I think there's a lot of situations that our friend Asher needs to resolve in in this
Yeah.
show. So our two main characters that we meet at the beginning of the episode are Asher, who is played by Nathan Fielder, and Whitney, who's played by Emma Stone. Kind of our, I guess, third main character is Dougie, who is the director of this HGTV show, and he's played by Benny Safdie, who's the co-writer with Nathan. And we kind of open up by learning a little bit about these characters, really setting the scene for what is going on with this Flipanthropy TV show. We meet a man called Fernando, we learn is supporting his mom while she undergoes cancer treatments, and he is not having an easy time finding a job. So Whitney is able to tell him that they've secured him a job at a new coffee shop called Barrier Coffee. And while this is happening, it's being filmed for the show, and Dougie doesn't feel that Fernando's mom is reacting properly, and he kind of uses some movie magic to make it seem like she's crying in a very aggressive way, which obviously Whitney and Asher are not happy with. And Whitney especially is upset and kind of storms off the set when this happens.
So I don't know. Have you seen Love is Blind?
No, I'm not a Love is Blind girl.
Okay, I've seen like all of Love is Blind in all the languages, but there's an iconic moment where there's one guy who they fully film and put this out there where he grabs like eye drops and pulls and puts them in his eye when he's being interviewed and asks them to wait. And then he pretends to cry.
Oh
And it
my
just made
god.
me think of that. It was so funny because this circulated and was a really popular clip. So people are out here doing this. They're pretending to cry. They want all the sympathy. But, his mom clearly wasn't trying to do that. But a little movie magic, baby.
Yeah. I think we like really immediately get a sense of Dougie as a
Hmm.
director, as a producer for this TV show. He's just like the classic slimy producer. He'll do anything to get the good shot. We'll see later in the episode some of his previous work.
I
Um,
cannot wait.
yes, so we will get into that for sure. Um, but yeah, and we learn a little bit more about the area that they are producing the show in called Espanola. And essentially, their whole goal that they're claiming with the show is that they really want to help the residents in Espanola. They want to give back to the community that they love so much. And they're going to be doing this through Whitney building her net zero houses. And we hear a little bit about this and the Passive House Society. Meg, would you like to describe Whitney's net zero houses for our lovely listeners?
So we get some glass mirrored walls on the outside. We learn it is perfectly temperature controlled. Fun facts for anyone out there. Passive houses actually started in Canada and then very quickly moved to Germany and then became much more popular in Germany. So a lot of people think that that's where they became popular or that's where they started. Also, what's kind of fun is the individual that they have acting as our passive house like expert is kind of a riff of the person who actually started passive houses, which is Wolfgang Feist. I wanted to check because I thought maybe they were using like him for real in the show. But we get a very close name. They keep his last name in it. And yeah, it's just a house where the energy you need to run the house is generated by the house itself. So you don't need any external power coming in to run it. It just generates it itself. So they do exist. They're all over the place. They're very fun.
Yeah, I mean, other than the fact that it's like mirrored and looks very crazy, I feel like every other part of this sounds amazing. It's the perfect temperature all the time. Like, oh,
Okay,
sign me up.
that's debatable though, because everyone thinks a specific temperature is the perfect temperature. Like, what temperature do you keep your house at?
Well, we famously are in Canada, but I think I'm like a 21 or 22 degrees Celsius kind of girl.
Yeah,
What about
I would say that
you?
that's pretty good. But, sometimes people like it all cold. Like I've been to friends' houses where their house is absolutely freezing and it feels like a nightmare. So as long as you can, be on the same page as whoever you're living with, there you can find peace in your home. But, saying the perfect temperature all the time is a bold claim, I would say, because I feel like that's very person dependent.
Fair. Would you say that conscientiously rejuvenating your home is person dependent, or are we all striving for that as well?
Um, Probably person dependent. If my house could run off of the energy it generates, I would say yes, please. But it can be super expensive to set up, right? Like getting solar panels on your roof. My family looked into getting a windmill, which is insanely expensive and bailed on. But there's all sorts of different things you can add to your home. But building it from scratch, like it's a very expensive venture. So maybe long term, these will become more sustainable or cheaper, or the government will offer more subsidies, which they do to make your house more eco friendly. But it's probably very area dependent. And it sounds like this area specifically, like they talk a lot about gentrification. And what does that look like? Well, you're making all the houses much more expensive in the area. So it's a very difficult situation. But I think a big part of this show of flip anthropy, which we should discuss if that's a good name, really rolls off the tongue. Like it's this very like white savior house flipper that we've seen on HGTV growing up. Like, I used to watch all these shows and absolutely love them. And then you hear afterwards, like, what are some of the shows that you watch? Like Trading Spaces.
Yeah.
What was the big one where they would say, like, move that
Yeah.
bus?
Extreme Home Makeover, I think.
Extreme Home Makeover. I
Yeah.
think that one was a very classic. Like, they fully renovate the house, they put all this stuff in, and then as soon as they leave, maybe the quality of the furniture they used wasn't that great. Maybe they pull a bunch of stuff out. Even Pimp My Ride, I think they load it up with tech and then
Yeah.
take it all out and leave. So it's all kind of showboating. And then you put these massive properties on these tiny lots, and their property taxes go way up. And so the people who were originally in these homes can no longer afford to stay in the homes and need to leave. So I think with a lot of Nathan's projects, as we've seen in the rehearsals specifically, him talk a lot about very real issues in a very funny way. The homelessness crisis is happening in Canada. It's a very big deal. We're kind of seeing how there's all these different levels of income in one area, and how, we learned about the coffee shop. Well, they were only supposed to hire local people, and now we have these Australian actors for the camera who are serving coffee versus hiring locally. And they only have a 6-month lease, so it's not really keeping jobs in the area. It's more a show for this clip that we can make you guys look really great in. And then we also learned that Emma Stone's character is, I guess, an influencer at some point. So she has this big image to maintain, and her parents own some sort of real estate company that isn't very good to their tenants.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers to exactly what is going on here, which obviously I think we probably expected going into the show. When it's a Nathan Fielder project, you're going to be kind of getting a lot of stuff going on. Um, let's talk about, yeah, kind of the relationship between Asher and Whitney as well, because we learned that they're newlyweds. They've been together for about a year. And it seems like, or sorry, they've gotten married about a year
Hmm.
ago, but it seems like they're already having some cracks in the relationship. And I feel like we got a lot of information about Whitney with like her parents and learning a little bit about what's going on with like her passion for designing these sustainable houses. But do we think that they actually believe in this flipanthropy TV show? Like, are they buying what they're selling, or are they just kind of doing this for clout or for, I don't know, just to be on TV?
Well, it seems like what they were saying kind of just to each other and to Whitney's family is how they're really investing in property, and they've invested a lot. I think they said $1 million in property in that area. So part of their
Yeah.
show is to boost up the economy in that area, make it a more desirable place to live. And at that point, they've bought $1 million worth of property in the area. They continue to buy more so that their investment is coming back to them. So they do seem a little crooked, right? Like, their
Yeah.
intentions over making this show are to make themselves more money. But on the outside, especially Emma Stone's character, Whitney, she's wearing like a literal rainbow and sunshine, and
Yeah.
is so loving and just cares so much. And oh, you have to go and make sure that there's no bad karma about us. Nobody in town can think anything negatively of us. Like, you have to go rectify the situation with the child. You have to go and fix the situation with the interviewer. So she's very much about maintaining her image. Nathan's character, who's just all in black, he seems very much like his character on Nathan For You, but just a lot more aggressive. Like, he definitely has an
Yeah.
aggressive side. Like, he'll snap a little bit more easily. So it is really interesting to see him in an acting role. But again, his intentions don't seem squeaky clean, and I think it'll just continue to unravel.
Yeah, I feel like we don't get enough backstory for him yet. Well, obviously, it's only the first episode. I was
Hmm.
obsessed with the fact that he was in all black and she was literally wearing a rainbow with a sunshine. Like, it was
Hmm.
quite literally grumpy sunshine, but on their clothes in the interview
Hmm.
that they do with the local news.
Hmm.
I feel like we can definitely talk about Asher snapping on Whitney during the, or not during, not on Whitney, Asher snapping on the interviewer when they're talking to the local newscaster when she
Hmm.
asks about Whitney's parents, which honestly, like, very good acting from Nathan. I feel like the whole scene of them being interviewed was so effective because it's very hard as an actor to have to like you're like you're saying lines, right? And you can tell
Mm-hmm.
when he's saying the lines that it's meant to be like he's rehearsed these lines, like he
Mm-hmm.
knows what he's gonna say, and he did it in such a interesting way, where it came off like very awkward and almost like ChatGPT wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell they're trying to come off so well in this interview. And when it kind of starts going off the rails, when the interviewer mentions Whitney's parents, he snaps so quickly and is probably like the biggest ick I've ever gotten from Nathan, which is saying a lot
Mm.
considering the types of things that we've seen this man do. But this,
The
even though
biggest?
even though he's doing a character, we'll get to the later in the episode where I did suddenly get a bigger ick. Um, but this part of the episode really gave me the ick on Asher. I was like, oh my god, he's a scumbag. I don't know who's a bigger scumbag though, him or Whitney. It's hard to say at this point in time. We'll
Oh,
have to keep
yeah.
track.
They definitely make it seem like it's him for now. Although again, we see that she says, I'm not associated with that family. Uh, we see Nathan comparing it to the interviewer whose family literally abandoned her for her whole life. And then they immediately cut to having dinner with her parents. Like they seem like they're people they are very close to. We can get into it, but we learn a lot about what Whitney has told her mother and her father about Nathan and about his character. So we learn a lot about him.
Yes. Yes, and actually during this or right after this scene with the interviewer, we see kind of what goes down with Nathan and the little girl with the
Hmm.
$100. So I feel like this part also gives us like a lot of info on Dougie. Like Dougie's intentions
Oh,
obviously were
yeah.
never going to be pure. He's trying to produce a reality TV show, but the fact that he is so hell-bent on recording everything that Asher says to me makes it feel like he definitely knows something else is up. Like what has Asher done in the past around Dougie for Dougie to know like okay, there's some bullshit going on here.
Okay, but the part that I don't understand is they reference their long term relationship and how they were friends before. So it seems like part of it is that he's this director that HBO sent, but then we learn that they're longtime friends and he's done lots of silly things in front of Dougie. So why is he trying to manipulate and, catch Asher in these awkward situations? So again, we get him asking him specifically to go and donate money so that he can clip the recording device on him for when Asher goes and tries to speak again to the interviewer to try to get her to take down the interview of him snapping so that they can maintain their image. So you see Dougie trying to manipulate the situation, pretending that they want to get some nice clips of him donating money, but he just wants to get the audio device on him. And then it shows him and the audio guy sneaking towards the subway that he's meeting this interviewer at. So he's trying to spy on him constantly and keeps telling them that they are not recording when they are. So I don't really understand their relationship. But we can talk about a little bit later where it seems like he's blatantly hitting on Whitney. So maybe he's trying
Yeah.
to specifically catch Asher in a bad spot.
Yeah. It's kind of like interesting too because a lot of the shots I found were very like voyeuristic. Like
100%.
it's like they're shooting through a window and it's like you're kind of like watching through the window or like later in the episode they're shooting through the peephole. And at first I thought it was meant to be like, oh, we're kind of like Dougie, but now I feel like it's like a third party that's
Mhm.
like watching all of this happen. Um, so it's almost like, yeah, are we gonna catch Dougie in something too? Because
Mhm.
clearly he's not a good guy either. Do we have any
No.
rootable characters? Maybe the little girl and her
Um,
family.
yeah, I don't think quite yet, but I mean, maybe we talk about it a little bit more down the line, but yeah, I completely agree. A lot of the shots are very eerie. They're being watched. It is like a reality show. Um, and even the music, it's
Oh my
very
gosh.
eerie, very suspenseful, very kind of putting you on edge, especially the end with the people where again you think it's Dougie. And then you find out, no, there's another person watching, or there's always someone else watching. So it'll be interesting
Yeah.
to see how they weave that into the story while they're trying to hide what they're actually doing, hiding the relationship with the parents and how close they are, hiding the fact that they're investing heavily in this community so that they can personally profit. Um, trying to keep that squeaky clean image. And it's just a very interesting show so far. Like, I'm very excited to see
Yeah.
where it goes. Like, it's there've been some moments for sure.
Okay, this is not a very intellectual comment,
That's
but
okay. I don't know if any of
when
ours have been.
when
We're talking
Nathan
about cursing people.
when Nathan calls gentrification the G word, that was like one of the funniest moments of the episode to me because
Very funny.
I have never heard it referred to as the G word before. I like
Maybe
this branding.
in HGTV, maybe that's what it is when they're doing
G
all the
word.
house flipping shows. um, but yeah, it's very interesting. Can we talk about the name of their show?
Yeah, of course.
Flipanthropy. What do we
Yes.
think? Because Nathan's a marketing genius.
Yeah. I think it's purposely not great. Like, I think a lot
I
of
think it's
these
very funny.
yeah, it's funny because it's a
Mhm.
fake show. Like, I think
Yeah.
a lot of these HGTV shows, like Flip or Flop and like the
Mhm.
Flip Off, I feel like they're all kind of in the same vein. So it definitely fits in with those HGTV shows. Um, but I do think it's pretty silly. It's so on the nose too, with them being like, we're not just flipping houses, we're not just building these net neutral houses, like we're doing philanthropy, we're working for the community. I am obsessed with the fact that HGTV let them kind of say the actual name of HGTV because like this is so clearly making fun of their shows.
Well, do we think that they were given permission, or is there parody law at play? They
I
must have
feel
given
like
permission,
yeah,
right?
they must have given permission. I mean, we haven't seen logos, like we've only heard it referred to by name, but it
Yeah.
does feel like they must have been if anyone is more well versed in how this works, please let us know because I'm genuinely curious how they're able to just be like, yeah, it's on HGTV.
Yeah, we need Anthony Filosa to come in to tell us, is this legal? Is this not? I desperately am in need of some advice. I don't know. I love that we get to use them by name. It makes it so much more like ingrained in our current society and in our world when you can use things like that. Like, it's not this fake world that's out there. It's like this is very realistically a show that is actually happening. And when these
Yeah.
big shows come in and build up these communities, they probably are investing in the side and hoping it becomes a popular spot. So it feels very real, like very creepy, but it's like people who are like this. Like, influencers are all over the place now. They're all about their image, very squeaky clean, like everything's edited and tweaked and manipulated on reality TV. So it's just like it's just a very fun watch so far.
Yeah, and this totally does feel like the type of HGTV show that, like my mom would be
Mm.
watching.
Yeah, I used to watch HGTV all the time, that and Food Network. So it's like,
Yeah.
hey, if I was home one day from school and this was on at lunch, like, I'd probably watch it.
Yeah, and you'd
Like,
be like, "Oh, they're doing such good things for the community."
100%, 100%. And not to say that Queer Eye does negative things for the community, but I can totally see how it's like that, where it's like, hey, we're renovating your house, we're healing you inside and out, we're making you beautiful, like, we're fixing all parts of your life, like, we're giving back to the community. Like, they're just so are shows identical to this. It's very funny.
Now that you've mentioned Queer Eye, I'm really curious if we're gonna get like some sort of Queer Eye type of insert into this show
Mm,
because I could so see it playing a part in Flipanthropy where they're like, oh, we like have this person who's down on their luck and we're also gonna give them
yeah.
a home, like a makeover.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're like, oh, we're giving you a job and we're boosting your interview skills. And now you're social at this coffee shop and you're saving money to help with your mother's cancer. Like, it's more than just a house flipping show, right? They're doing a lot working on the individuals to boost themselves up and be like, look how great I am. But it is very funny because what are the popular HGTV shows today? Like, Queer Eye's not HGTV, but I see it very much as a makeover renovation show.
Yeah.
Love It or List It is kind of the big one that I'm still aware of. I used to watch it, just anything that was on, right? And now you go back and they're like putting up the tackiest wallpaper, being like, we've completely fixed your life.
So the only ones I'm aware of, and this is really gonna show my whole ass here, is there is like the couple who were doing a show together and then they got divorced.
The
Tarek and
tea.
I can't remember his ex-wife's name, and then he started dating
Oh,
one of the
the
women
girl
from
from
Selling
Selling
Sunset. Yeah.
Sunset.
Heather.
Heather.
And they got married, and now they have a show, but also his ex-wife is in the show too, and they do all this weird press where it's like it feels like they're gonna have a threesome. It's all like extremely uncomfortable, and like Heather and the ex-wife look the same, like they are
Really?
identical. Yes,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
crazy.
Wow.
So that's the only one that I'm super familiar with.
Well, maybe that's how Dougie gets involved. You know, he's like the
Oh
weird,
my.
like he wants to be a part of the threesome. He's like, call me Steven, or is it Steve?
Yeah, Steve. I think it's Steven. Oh my god.
Call me Steven, tap me in.
Oh gosh. Okay, but yes, we do go to Whitney's parents' house and we get like the jump scare to end all jump scares with this cut where it's just suddenly a dick peeing into a toilet.
Yeah, I don't see that, I wasn't expecting it, I should say. And it is like a very tiny, delicate little peen,
Yes, okay.
which is a big plot point, which is why I comment.
Yeah, and I feel like there's no way this is like just to be related to this one scene. Like this must be a reoccurring thing, or like we must need to know this just to understand the character more. But like, wow, I did not expect that we were going to be getting so much like small dick info in this
Yeah,
show.
so we get Nathan / Asher holding his dick to pee with like his fingertips. Like there's not a lot to grab. And that's fine, and
We're not
then
judging here.
no judgment. Not our business, not our man. Not my horse, not my circus. And so I think it probably speaks a lot more to his ego and how that plays out in him feeling confident or not confident in other aspects of his life. We have a bit of a graphic sex scene of Asher and Whitney a little bit later on, and you can see how even in their fantasies, like he's not that involved. Like he can only listen to Whitney and her sex toy have intercourse while he's just there in the corner listening almost. Like he asks if he can join and or she invites him to join and he says, no, I just want to watch. Can I watch? And then I guess Steve says, no, but you can listen. I don't want to see your face. So I think like he doesn't have a lot of confidence. So I think that we're going to explore that a lot more and see where maybe he overexerts himself in other aspects of his life. Like with the interviewer, he tries to kind of, show up in a very loud way and kind of have a big ego in that situation. Whereas, we might see some other ones where he's not as confident. And then we also learn that Whitney's dad is very aware of his situation and similarly also has a small situation. And, he has embraced it and really wants Asher to yell it from the rooftops, tell his friends about it. You can be confident while having this, and really wants to have a man-to-man talk with him because I guess Whitney's mom was aware of it and told his dad. So do you have any thoughts on this scene?
So many thoughts. I read somewhere that the pee was CGI'd. So then I was like,
No
okay,
way. You
that's
think?
what I read. That's what I read.
Well, I guess how would it not be? Because it's like
Yeah.
a fake, I assume.
That's the other thing. I'm assuming this is a prosthetic. It could be
Yeah.
CGI. It could be a stand-in. Maybe they cast, if this
Not
were
that
Nathan
we
for you,
know.
if it were Nathan for you, we'd be casting on Craigslist, man with small
Absolutely.
penis.
Full bladder. Small
full
penis, full bladder.
Yeah, exactly.
We need you. Green thumb.
I was trying to like think back on like any time we've almost seen Nathan naked, and it would have only really been like the claw of shame,
The medical photos
the
from
medical photos, the chili
asexual.
shop.
So actually quite a few times.
Yeah, and I realized like I haven't really done a deep dive into what I think his situation is like down there.
The blur on the asexual repair shop photos, I think, was larger than what we saw. I think we can assume it's fake.
Yeah.
With no confidence.
The only reason that I'm wondering is because I'm like, it would be so Nathan Fielder to be like, I'm going to go full frontal. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. That seems very bold. But
He
it
is
would
so
be very
bold.
funny. He is bold. For the bit, he would do almost anything. I mean, like, you can't do anything crazier than the claw of shame, quite frankly.
Okay, but wouldn't it be doing exactly what Whitney's dad wanted by being like, yeah, I'm going to put it out on my TV show for the whole world to see?
He
Like,
would be
that
so proud.
It would be so meta to be doing this, but anyway, we learned this thing about Whitney's dad through him explaining that he pisses on his tomatoes to help them grow.
Shocking. Also in desperate need of a gardener to put the record straight that you should not be doing this, right? This can't possibly be a good decision. Right?
I famously am not very good at gardening. Like, I'm trying to think of what would be in pea that would help with the tomatoes. Like, I guess ammonia. But I feel like, yeah, it's like a waste product. Like, I feel like you don't need to be peeing on your tomatoes. He also puts a little fish there, and I'm like
should I text someone while we're talking and ask? Should I try to find someone who's a good gardener?
I feel like
couldn't be me.
I'm just shocked that I think that we would know about this if it were real. I feel like this will come up.
Not only is this man urinating on his tomatoes, but I think he also said he puts a dead fish with them.
Yeah, a little dead fish.
Truly two of the worst smelling things. And yet he seems to think that this makes his tomatoes very delicious. We see Nathan eating the tomato before they go out. As they're having this discussion about being very proud and bold about your smaller penis, that he's like, you know what? I'm going to whip mine out and pee on my tomato plants and we can talk about this because look at what I'm working with as well, my friend, and look at my confidence levels. This doesn't hinder my life in any way. And he pees on his tomatoes. Which I don't know if I'd be eating those tomatoes from my friend. But I guess animals must pee on plants, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's just
We're
like
I suspect yes.
I just like don't want to know. I feel like ignorance is bliss when it comes to what's peeing on all my plants.
Yeah, don't look me in the eye as I eat a tomato and tell me you peed on it. Because I will pause. You will see me stutter.
I feel like you're not coming over for dinner anymore if I'm like, I'm pissing all over my tomatoes.
Now, famously, drinking urine on Nathan For You is like the cure all, end all, be all health drink of the century. So if we are infusing our tomatoes with this, is this like a superfood? Like tomatoes are already healthy. Are we getting peak health by adding this urine, or can it only be children's urine?
There's so many questions. We just really need a professional to answer them. AKA the man from the from the gas station.
Gas station rebate. We must call you to find out. Or do you need to drink it fresh? And where are the fish coming from? And why?
That's the other question. Yeah, the fish thing, like, is he buying goldfish? Is he just like getting like can of like sardines and throwing them in the soil? There's so many questions. And it's such a random throwaway.
And with fall starting, I can't just like do a tomato plant A, tomato plant B situation.
You're gonna have to keep them inside and be peeing on them.
That'd be very difficult for me to start with. Like, the commitment for me to pee on tomatoes is so much higher than any man. It's like such a larger process depending on the pot.
If he's like going on vacation and he needs someone to come over and look after his tomato plants, is he asking his random friend or house sitter to piss on the tomatoes, or do you think he just forgoes it for a couple weeks?
No, he pees in little containers, stocks up, puts it in the fridge, or stores it in like the watering containers,
Oh
right?
yeah. You must. You
You
must.
must.
Oh my word. I also really enjoyed that the dog said I love you. I thought that was a stellar trick that I will be
Hmm.
taking for my own future dog.
Yeah, you don't have a dog yet, but you will do this in the future. Write it down, remember it.
Yes. How do we feel about the nickname the Cherry Tomato Boys?
I mean, accurate? I don't know.
I feel like the weird thing is like yes, cherry tomatoes are small, but like it's like they're small, but I feel it's not the correct shape.
I just feel not equipped to 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 be the one officially saying like this is the
The
universal
shape.
nickname for the micro community. Like,
Yeah.
don't let me tell you what you are, you tell me. So if you feel that cherry tomato like works for you and feels good and feels right, like, and these are two members of the community. So if they want to tell me that, I'll respect the name.
Do we think this did the same thing for the small penis community that the rehearsal did for the autistic community? They had something to rally around.
Well, we are a little late to the game, so we could Google it. As like we were experiencing the rehearsal in real time. We're probably a year out from the curse. When did it come out?
I think maybe a year or 2 years. So we're a little behind, unfortunately.
So
If
maybe
you
it's not
were
the community I've been tapped into, but maybe they've been elated by this and they feel
if
very empowered.
it was 2023, so we're about 2 years too late. But if you were around when the curse dropped in real time and like there was a hubbub in the small penis community, like we would love to hear about it.
Were there whisperings?
Where
Did you
people
feel represented?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great question. Did you feel represented? Anyway, I think we've spent enough time on that section of the episode.
Yeah. Yeah, the biggest chunks are like us doing curses on people and us being unaware of what the micro penis community should be calling themselves.
Actually going back to the music drops, I really enjoyed when they were driving to Whitney's parents' house and they drove past the wrong way sign. There was like a really good needle
Mm,
drop at that point too, where it was
yeah.
very eerie. Um, Also, another thing that gave me the ick, I alluded to this earlier in the episode. Two things gave me the ick. It was Nathan being an asshole to the interviewer and that he didn't seemingly wash his hands after he peed.
Oh,
Granted, it's open-ended, but like
I
it
feel
did
like
not seem like he did.
I don't think men wash their hands enough after peeing enough in general, quite frankly.
Oh my
Like,
god.
I feel like I've had multiple men tell me that like they don't think they need to wash their hands. And I'm like, you're wrong.
You're
Or
touching your
guys, yeah, guys will go off just into the woods or they'll just go places. Like, we have friends who just go pee places. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, like we're around bathrooms, we're around places with options. I'm now very aware of the fact that you did not wash your hands. So
Nasty.
explain yourself.
Disgusting. Disgusting. Wash your damn hands. I don't
Wash
care
your
how
hands.
small your penis is. You need to wash your hands. That's my stance on that matter. Cherry tomato
Carry
boys.
carry around some hand sanny. Like, I don't know.
Gross.
I yeah. I don't know.
Like, why was it so open ended? I guess maybe there just wasn't enough time to put him washing his hands, but I want to believe that it means something. It's meant to show me more about his character, that he feels he doesn't need to wash his hands.
Yeah. He needs to work on his squeaky clean image, and he needs to be washing his hands.
Yeah. So we do see when they leave Whitney's parents' house and get back in the car, they have a little bit of a fight, where obviously Asher is upset that Whitney has told her parents that he has a small penis.
Completely fair. Like,
Yeah.
100% fair.
Yes.
I'm 100% on Asher's side in this. That is a crazy thing to drop to your mother.
Yeah. Like, I get it. They're like, oh, we're really open or whatever. But you don't need to be doing that to your husband.
No.
Some things need to remain between you and your husband. I feel like small penis is one.
Any penis size should remain. Like, you don't need to be telling your mother that. That's crazy.
Obviously, like, she probably knows too. Like, if you've been on vacation, if you've seen the man in a swimsuit, you can probably figure it out.
Are you out there eyeing up swimsuits?
I guess
Men
I don't
beware
know
on vacation.
I don't know if Asher's rocking like a Speedo or if he's more of like a board shorts guy, but
Yeah, but let it be something that if it gets discovered on its own, it doesn't trace back to you. It can't be you told your mother and now your family knows and it's a talking subject at dinner and while you're watering your garden.
and like his mom puts the little baby carrot on the plate too, or Whitney's mom
Insane.
puts the little baby carrot on the plate, like
Yeah, apparently they've known for a while, and today they decided this is the night where during dinner we need to really discuss this penis situation. Like
we're
we're
airing it
being
out.
blunt with it. Like insure the baby carrot, the cherry tomato of it all. It's a large topic. And then also she tells her family that they're currently not trying for a child, which they've interpreted as you're not having any sex, which is also weird. But it's just a lot of information, and maybe other families are closer than mine, but it's just not something I would be discussing.
Yeah, I also was trying to figure out, do they mention if Whitney has a sibling or is she an only child?
I don't remember them mentioning a sibling. I think if there was another sibling, they would probably be at family dinner.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but I'm curious. Maybe she's an only child and that's why she seems like really close with her parents.
Do you think only children are closer with their parents?
I think that's like what people say. A lot of people say that only children are really close to their parents. I feel like I'm pretty close with my mom though, and I'm not an only child. I feel like you're close with your parents and you're also not an only child, so it's like it's hard to say.
Mm-hmm.
We can't be not only children. Like it's just, it is what it is.
Yeah, as the youngest children, we are the sweet baby angels, so can't relate to older children or single children, individuals.
Solo kids.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel that the fight, I thought it was going to be much more of a blow up, but it kind of is diffused pretty quickly when Asher makes a joke that his dick is bigger than Whitney's dad's, which I thought was like a pretty good way to diffuse it.
It is a good joke, but also like devastating to learn as a child. You know? Like he really got her back good. Unless apparently that's something that did she already know that? Was this new information? Not clear.
It seems like she knew her dad had a small dick, right?
Why is this
telling everyone?
Why are people's genitals being discussed in family settings?
He's whipping it out and pissing on the tomatoes in the middle of dinner.
Why?
Oh, man. These families, man, they're just built different.
Okay, listeners, let us know. Is this something your family does? Do you know the size and shape of your family's genitals? If so, why? Explain. Defend.
Unless it's something dark, then please, we're so sorry. And
keep it to yourself.
You don't need to tell us about that.
Only tell us if it's funny.
Okay, so after this fight, after we see the sex scene that we kind of already talked about with
Oh, wait.
Steven.
Before we get there, I just love the scene of him looking at dinner and Emma or Whitney, like them having the discussion through the mirror. I thought that that was a really beautiful way to frame
Oh,
everything. And that's all.
that was
I
very
just
cool.
really
Yeah.
loved it. Mm-hmm.
No, that's a good call out. It was very cool. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it was very Safdie brothers kind of
Yeah.
shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Which this was actually directed by Nathan, so
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe he directed 8 of the 10 episodes. So he did
oh
most of
wow.
them. Uh but on that note, so they get back, they drive home discussing, well, like your dad has a small dick too. And then there's immediately standing talking about dinner and she's giving him the eyes through the mirror. Like, what about that interaction led you to this point? You just got really like excited by all the talk? Like, how did we get here? Your father was involved in that discussion,
Yeah, I
ma'am.
don't know. Maybe she was still hot and heavy from the earlier Asher arguing with the reporter.
I think she didn't like that. I thought she really didn't like it. I didn't think it was as bad as I think you or Whitney in the show thought it was. I thought he made an excellent point. Like, you've made it clear you don't want to discuss this. Would you want
Yeah.
us to discuss your family? I thought it was kind of nice to stand up for someone. Um, but I think she took it really poorly. Like, she was really upset about it.
I think it was just like the way he went about it is what's
Mm-hmm.
upsetting. The way that
Yeah.
he like went, he didn't need to take it so far as to be like, well, what do your parents do? And like, oh, well, how would you feel if I kept asking about your dad who walked out on you? It's like, you just don't need to take
She
it that
mentioned
far.
that. She mentioned that. She could have ignored his question, but yeah, I agree. Apparently, something that happened, yelling yelling at the reporter to cherry tomatoes and driving home talking about the size of your father, something in that led to you being interested in that moment. And I have questions as to why.
Okay, wait. Also on the drive home, they are kind of like fake fighting, and he starts like joking about like, her opening her mouth and whatnot. And
Big
then,
mouth, open it up big, and
yeah,
then
and the
between your
car's
teeth.
swerving. And the
Oh
car's
yeah.
swerving. Did you think that they were going to get in an accident? I did for a second think we were about to see some sort of curse,
Mm.
come
Now,
to fruition.
if they died in a car accident and were ghosts for the rest of this season, I'd be like, yes, this is what I was expecting. Go haunt some houses.
I thought like maybe we were gonna see them hit someone or like even just drive into a ditch or something, but yeah, nothing really happens with
No,
it.
no other cars on the road. They're goofing, they're laughing, they're having a good time.
Yeah. But yeah, so we see that, we see the sex scene, and then we see this scene of Dougie who is working on the edit for their show. And while we're going through this and Whitney is not super stoked about what he has been doing, we learn that Dougie has worked on another show called Love in the Third Degree. Do you want to talk a little bit about the premise for this show?
100%. I'm so excited to talk about this part. So it is a dating show a la The Bachelor, but the lead, our bachelor, he has this mask that covers his face the whole time, and it's this gold creepy face mask that he wears the whole time through the dating show, eliminating people just as you would in The Bachelor, going on dates. But the ending is you marry the person you pick, and the mask only comes off after you've signed the paperwork and you are officially married. Some of the funnier parts are that people are kissing the mask on their dates, which I thought was really funny. And you can just see his eyes through it. And the big twist of this show is that when he takes his mask off, they were presenting it as maybe he's a celebrity, maybe he's a prince, maybe he's this really well-known person, but he's a burn victim. And then it shows like the horror on the girl's face, which is awful. But Dougie was showing this show to them to allegedly prove, I work on projects that are feel good and heartwarming and about community. And let me show you this while still making them funny. So let me show you this so that you are more confident in what I'm deciding to film and what I'm deciding to edit because I'm the professional. And then he shows them this insane piece where they are clearly making fun of this individual and they are horrified by it.
This was wild.
This was wild. Now, it made me think of another dating show. Um, what was it called? Something like Crazy Beasts or
Oh yeah.
Sexy Beasts.
Sexy Beasts.
So I think that was Netflix. I think I watched one
Yeah.
episode of it where people would dress like fully up in some sort of monster uniform or like really edit their faces with prosthetics. Like they would say, "Oh, I want to be a deer." So they get the nose, the antlers, like they completely cover themselves. They go on these dates where you can't see what the other person looks like. You can a little bit, but your face looks nothing alike. Now, again, at the end, you decide who you want to pick. They remove all the makeup. You see what they look like under all of this. So that premise has been done in real life before, which is also very funny. But also all the people that they're casting on all these shows, like even Love is Blind, like they are all beautiful people. Maybe they're not your specific type, but they're casting a lot of really good looking people on these shows. They're casting reality stars. So the premise is just, it's very funny that he used this to prove to everyone that he's such a good director. But I can
Yeah.
100% see this being a real show. And like, it probably is very close to being a real show already.
I know. I'm just trying to remember. There were so many like crazy old dating shows that I'm trying to remember. Like, do you remember the Swan or whatever, where it was like all of these women
Yeah.
competing and they would get plastic surgery?
Yeah. Yeah. Beauty and the Geek.
Yeah, Beauty and the Geek was really
Where they're like,
crazy.
oh, look at these hideous men and these complete hotties who would never love you, and then a bunch of them fall in love. Yeah, they're always playing on people's appearances, and it's very much like, would you date this uggo if you knew what they actually look like? It's crazy.
Yes, and I thought that the music where it's just like he reveals himself and it's like the fire burns on. So funny. It was extremely Selling Sunset coded.
Yeah, so insane to have
Yeah.
all the women like gasp in horror. Like, there's no good way to end this show in like a polite way.
Yeah, I feel like there's a couple moments in this episode where it clearly like went like fully like, okay, this is like actually a comedy. Like this was one
Mhm.
moment. I feel like there was a couple of others that were like genuinely just like very funny. But this was definitely like the most comedic moment, I would say, of the episode, in my opinion.
And do you remember in Nathan for You during the Uber episode where Nathan pretends to be a burn victim so he can fully
Yeah.
cover his face in bandages so that he can sneak into Ubers to try to convince people to join his sleeper cell or sleepy cell
Yeah.
to get back at Uber for giving away baby onesies to people who had just had babies in the Uber. So, you know, he's had this concept marinating before that. If you're a burn victim, you can hide your identity and interact with people and they don't know who you are. So I'd like to think that everything comes from Nathan for You. Everything.
Everything. So after we see this this concept show that Dougie has put together, Whitney also sees the footage of Asher handing the girl $100 and then taking it back. And obviously she is horrified by this. She's very upset and tells him that he needs to go and give the girl the $100, or I'm unclear if she wants to do $100 or $20, but
I
he
think it was
needs to find
$100.
he
She
needs
said,
to
give
go
her the
find
whole
her.
100. Yeah.
Go find her and give her the money. But it's kind of unclear if she's worried about it because she feels bad that he ripped this girl off, or because she's worried about the curse, or maybe
No,
it's a little both.
I don't think she's worried about the curse. Like she was talking a lot about anyone's impression of them. So I think she
Yeah.
was worried that they are aware that he did this. They experienced it. They're trying to put out a show. Are they going to go talk to community members about what he did and their reputation and it possibly getting out? I think everything is about every single person that they meet thinking that they are exactly how they want to be portrayed and showing themselves in a very specific light all the time. So I think that that's what
Yeah.
she was worried about. I think the curse is more seen as like karma to her, probably not a literal we've been cursed. But it's just like, hey, we want everyone in this community to love us and to think really highly of us.
Yeah. I really hope they are actually cursed though.
I think they must
Yeah.
be. It's the name of the show. They must get cursed, and this must be a major thing that they deal with throughout the show, right?
I feel actually maybe my prediction is that they're just like bad people and bad things happen, but it's like not actually to do with the curse.
They're
However,
just blaming an arbitrary curse to make themselves feel better. Like it couldn't possibly be them. It has to be this curse.
yeah, they're doing flippanthropy. They're out here. They're
They're
out here
doing it, lady.
G-wording the neighborhood.
So funny.
Um, I will say, I do wonder how much of this couple was based on like Chip and Joanna Gaines. I just that those names just came to my mind, but do you know much about Chip and Joanna?
Oh gosh, so long ago. I think I've heard of them. They have the house renovation show, right? They're married.
Yeah, but their whole thing was like they were doing a lot of work in Waco, Texas, which was like a very small town rocked by like a lot of stuff going on, a lot of like gun violence stuff, bad stuff happened in Waco, and they kind of were like, we're coming to Waco and we're gonna like revitalize Waco. But I think they're actually like decently good people, unless Nathan knows something about Chip and Joanna that I don't.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know much about them. I think it'll be interesting as we go through this week by week. You and I just maybe looking up more HGTV shows. I know South Park did a little spin-off of HGTV shows. That was a funny bit. I think it'll be interesting like what we start to remember as they show us different things because I did used to watch it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So Asher does go out to try and find the little girl and the rest of her family to give her the $100, and we see him kind of driving all around, all throughout Espanola, and he can't seem to find them, and he ends up at what seems to be maybe like a family shelter, and he goes in to ask if they're staying there, and obviously the person working there can't give him any information about who's staying at the shelter, but lets him know that like he can leave a note if, he sees people with that description, he'll leave it. And we also learned that the shelter's only open, I think he said 3 days a week because they don't have enough funding.
Hmm. Yeah, so considering how small the shelter is, it's actually like very, very unlikely that that's where they were staying. I do work at a homeless shelter, and you do get people accidentally call my extension all the time because it's like an easier one, and people do ask like, oh, or they'll message us on Facebook or Instagram. They'll say, oh, is so and so there? Can you tell them this? It's like for privacy reasons, you can't. Like you can never
Yeah.
tell someone that someone is staying at a shelter. So it is nice to see that accurate information is being spread about shelters, and like the funding is very difficult. So that's kind of like a also nice part of this show, just spreading awareness on like the housing crisis in general. But he then, keeps walking around. I don't know if this would have been my approach to finding her. I would have probably gone back to the same grocery store the next day. It seems like that's
Yeah.
somewhere they sell their cans of Sprite often. Like that's where I would look. How about you? If you needed to
Yeah.
find someone.
I think it would have made the most sense to just wait till the next day, but it seemed like Whitney was pretty upset, and I think Asher's like a little bit lazy. And like, let's be real, he's pretty whipped. So he was gonna do whatever he could to make Whitney happy in the moment. But yeah, he doesn't even try that hard. Like we see him driving around to like the one, grocery store that they had originally been at, and then we see him at this shelter. But like we don't see him going really anywhere else, which I guess also goes to show that how little like he really knows about this community, where like the only place he could think to go was the place he originally saw this person and the shelter. And like after that, he's like, well, I don't really know where these unhoused people would be.
Well, it would be unbelievably difficult to find them, and especially at
Yeah.
night, you're what? I mean, he did go and knock on a tent that he heard a child crying in, but
Yeah.
what, you're just gonna go knocking on people's tents? Like, it's not a good system.
Yeah.
But he knocks on a random tent, there's a woman in there with a crying baby, he hands her the money, says, "Take it, goodbye, I've done my good deed," goes back to see Whitney, and makes up this tale of how he did manage to find her and they were so happy to see him. And he asked specifically if she had removed the curse, and she specifically told him yes. And then they hug him and invite him up for dinner, but he says no, he must get back. And they leave on incredible terms, which for her to not question that at all is insane.
Yeah. It's so crazy that she's just like, okay, great.
You
But
solved
it
it.
seems
Thanks,
she might be
babe.
a little off her game. Like, it does feel like, as you mentioned, you think that maybe Dougie was hitting on Whitney. It
Oh,
seems
I
like
think definitely.
this happened like in succession. So maybe she was like a
Mhm.
little thrown off with the Dougie thing, and then like she's like, whatever, Asher, you dealt with your shit, like good enough.
Yeah, while Asher was away on this little side quest, we have Whitney recording voiceover for their show, and Dougie walks over to her because she's messing up a few of the words. She's really frustrated, and he goes and tells her like how incredible she is, and he might have just been trying to give her confidence to get through the voiceovers, but it really seemed like a little bit more than that, about how she lights up the screen and everybody's watching her and fantasizing about being with her, which I don't feel as if you need to say that to give someone confidence. You can just say what an incredible speaker they are. Oh, let's practice a few times. Let's take a lap, grab a drink. You don't need to tell someone who you're working with that everyone is fantasizing about them. That's a very strange route to go down.
Yeah, I think this seems to be a theme that he really wants them to fight. Um, because we see
Mhm.
earlier in the episode, like right at the beginning, he tells Asher that he should make kind of like a stupid comment while Whitney's talking and basically be like, "Oh, you're so dramatic," or whatever, to try and like pick a fight with her. So it
Mhm.
seems like Dougie either is trying to break them up for his own, ulterior motives. Maybe he wants to get with Whitney, or for the show, he just wants them to have a lot of tension, and maybe get a divorce like our guy Tarek and his ex-wife Christina on HGTV.
I think that if I were to guess, I think he wants the drama for the show at this moment because he was trying to record it all. And based on the other projects he's made, it seems like he wants the drama. And from what I've read, I feel as if a lot of the Bachelor producers do this as well. They stoke the fires, they try to cause conflict. He's very focused that the show is about their lives and not
Yeah.
just the philanthropy of it all and the specific things that they're pursuing and ways that they're helping the community. He really has emphasized multiple times the show is about you and your lives, which it's not. If it's based on their description,
Yeah.
it's not about their lives. It's about how they're flipping houses and taking the profit and putting it back into the community, helping individuals pay for subsidized rent, helping build up new businesses that employ local members of their society. It's not about their life. So I feel like they're on very different pages about what the show is about.
Yeah. Okay, one other thing that we didn't really get into. I just pulled up the episode title and description for episode 2, and it seems to be pretty focused on this Whistling River Casino plotline.
Okay, yeah, we
So,
didn't talk about it yet. Do you want to give the rundown?
yeah, so for anyone who either didn't watch the episode or isn't aware, in order to get the reporter to drop the story about Whitney's parents, Asher essentially offers her a different story about some corruption, it seems, that he had seen while he was working at Whistling River Casino. And so he's going to offer her this really big story about the casino in order to make sure that she doesn't drop the other story. Um, We don't get too much information about it other than that he keeps reiterating that he really does not want this to hurt the Pueblos, who are people who run the casino. So it seems like this is going to be a pretty big plot point. Interested to see where it goes.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see where it goes. I don't know where the casino is. Like, is it in the specific town that they were working in? I think it must be. So, for the good of the economy, maybe it's hindering their own project. Why he was gathering this information for their own story, it seemed as if he was saving it for themselves to report on it in some way. I am very interested to see where it goes.
Yeah, this is not a real casino. I just did look it up because obviously the location of the show is Espanola, New Mexico, but the casino doesn't actually exist. Um, but yeah, it's I don't know. It feels like there's a lot of little things going on here. We've got kind of the Dougie storyline to watch out for. We've got the curse storyline. Do we think Fernando and his mom will be making another appearance or the Barrier Cafe?
No, I think maybe they might mention it in 6 months that like it closed or mentioned in reference, but I don't think we're going to go back and follow them as a plot. Maybe just
Fair.
like a brief comment in passing as an example of one of the many ways in which they didn't follow through on their project of making the community a stronger place.
I would like more info on the jeans store.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
The like fully just made of wood jean store.
The very off-brand jeans beside the coffee.
Yeah. Yes. But yeah, I'm interested to see where this is going. I'll read. Do you want me to read the description for episode 2?
Sure.
So the episode is called "Pressure's Looking Good So Far." And the description is while Whitney tries to forge new alliances in the Espanola community, Asher tries to regain access to the Whistling River Casino, and Doug has a date.
Oh, so Whitney's forging alliances?
That's what it says. I
That's very
assume.
interesting.
Yeah. So we'll see what that could mean. If that means she's trying to like meet new people to, build a new business with, or what that could be. Could really be
Yeah,
anything.
because like for their brand, you would think that it would say like forge friendships, build stronger bonds, but forge alliances is very more manipulative and more gaming kind of language. So it's starting, even the description of the episode is starting to paint them as, you know, a little bit more mastermindy versus like just lovely, friendly, community focused individuals. So I'm interested to see like what kind of businesses or side quests she goes on. And I
Yeah.
guess
And I
Dougie
will.
gets a date.
Yeah. I'm
With
interested to
who?
see Dougie's date. The episode is not directed by Nathan, it's directed by another director, David Zellner and Nathan Zellner, different
Mm.
Nathan, will be directing. So we'll have to see where it goes from here.
Do we think he dates one of the Australian baristas that were flown in for show?
I would love that. That would make the most sense.
Because what else are they doing in town? They're like, look, I'm going back home. This coffee shop's not open much longer. I'll
Yeah.
I'll get it. I'll get a date in town while I'm here. Show me around the city.
Yeah, I mean, he could be dating a local, but he seems he just doesn't strike me as the kind of guy who is trying to date a local in Espanola. He seems like someone who's always trying to like climb the social ladder. Maybe he's gonna date the news reporter though. That would be funny.
Ooh, that would be very helpful, I think. I was like, Whitney's mom is married, but maybe he tries to move in.
I feel like the news reporter, he'd be trying to get more tea, so that could be maybe he's gonna
I
date
think the
someone
news
else at the
reporter,
newsroom.
the news reporter would be the most interesting person that, of which we've listed to try to go on a date on and like try to schmooze. I feel like I hope it's the news reporter out of all the characters we've seen so far.
Ooh, or he's gonna try and date like a young like bartender at the casino or something to try and
Mm.
get the tea on the casino.
Someone at the casino would also be very good.
Yeah.
But then
He
he's
strikes me
helping with this side plot, which he doesn't need to help on.
he seems to me like the kind of guy who's either trying to social climb or is gonna date some girly who's like way too young for him.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The acting in the show, I just wanted to note that Emma Stone was incredible. I feel
Yeah.
like you really see what a good actor she is in comparison to everyone else in the show. She really, really was doing it.
Yeah. No, she's doing a really good job. I mean, Benny Safdie also I think is a really fun actor. He's like
Yeah.
more known, I feel, for directing, but he has acted
Mhm.
in a ton of different things.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a really great cast. I'm so excited that she was interested in doing a project like this. I feel like it adds so much to the show, and I'm just so excited to see where it goes. And I'm so surprised by where it even started, considering I thought this was going to be completely different. I should have looked up like a summary of the show or like the summary of episode 1. Like I didn't. I just hit play. Just
I think
really
it's
went
better
for
that we
it.
went in I think it's better that we went in blind. I was expecting a little more like ha funny. This
Mhm.
reminded me a bit actually of The White Lotus season 1 where
Oh,
like
interesting.
mainly like you kind of go in really blind, like it's a bit more
Mhm.
kind of like artsy shots, that kind of thing, a lot more like kind of slow paced than some other things.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was kind of what it was giving to me.
So you think there will be a murder, is what I'm hearing.
I mean, I feel like someone's definitely gonna die, right? There's no way that no one in this show dies. They've been
You
cursed.
think? But they've been fake cursed by a child.
I
One
think someone
person, only Asher has been fake cursed by a child, and that's it.
I think I'm predicting there's gonna be some sort of death, at least one.
The drama.
Or maybe like Whitney's parents, I don't know. There's also so much opportunity for like drama with like her parents being slumlords and
Yeah.
there's a lot with that storyline too that we didn't really get
Mhm.
into, but there's just so many
Yeah.
little threads that it could really go any which direction, which I'm sure was part of the reason that they wrote it this way.
Yeah, we can do a little bit of a deeper dive. Although it sounds like her parents might not be as involved next episode if we're focusing on the casino, but we'll take a look, see how it goes. I'm very excited for the next episode. Um, so yeah, Kelly, do you want to tell people, the good people, where to find us?
Yes, you can check
The
us out.
spooky people,
Yeah,
the
if you
cherry
need
tomato people.
the cherry tomato boys, all the cherry tomato boys follow us. If you need a curse, slide into our DMs. We are at Nathan for Us Pod on Instagram, at Nathan for Us Podcast on TikTok and YouTube. And you can send us an email, nathanforuspodcast@gmail.com. Somebody did sign us up for a lot of like spam emails, and like, don't do that. I
You think
I
someone did?
assume I think so. It
Can
was
people do
very
that?
annoying to report spam like 10,000 times over the weekend. I'm sorry if I cursed you. However, I
Oh my
will be
gosh.
cursing you again if you do this to me.
I was camping, and so I didn't have any service. So I feel like I wasn't even aware that this was happening.
Yeah, it was very panic inducing for me for like, I don't
Oh
know, 15 to
no.
20 minutes. It's fine. I just reported them as
Crazy.
spam and we got over it.
Okay, nice. Yeah, don't curse us.
Please.
Please. We have a voicemail if you want to leave us a little voice note.
Good call. Yes, speakpipe.com/Nathan for Us podcast. I'll also link it in our show notes. I'll link everything in the show notes as usual.
This has been Kelly and Megan on your side.